37 people associated with the South LA Florencia 13 have been arrested following raids on 30 homes early this morning. Authorities say they funded the gang through armed robberies, extortion, and the sale of illegal drugs.
Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office indicted 23 of MS-13's members, some operating from within prison and others on the streets of L.A.
Downtown Los Angeles, authorities arrest 28 gang members and associates of the South L.A.-based Eastside Playboys. The multi-agency task force included personnel from the FBI, ATF, and LAPD.
We're taking a closer look at the dark underworld of Los Angeles street gangs, focusing on 5 of the most notorious criminal organizations that have plagued the city and beyond. From the long-standing influence of the Florencia 13, deeply rooted in the streets of South Central Los Angeles, to the rise of the Eastside Playboys, Miss 13, Osage Legend Crips, and the Inglewood Family Gang. Each of these gangs has left an indelible mark on their communities. We'll explore their origins, the scope of their criminal enterprises, and the recent federal indictments that aim to dismantle their networks and bring some measure of justice to the neighborhoods they have terrorized.
It's a Sunday afternoon car show, and young people have come by the thousands to look at flashy automobiles and at each other. But when 2 rival gangs come into each other's sight, just looking isn't enough. They taunt each other, flashing signs and yelling gang names. One bystander remembers it this way.
Looking like they're trying to get crazy, but I mean, it almost looked like it was going to stop.
But the 18th Street Gang and their rivals called Florencia say they're 2 separate families, deadly ones.
The 2 most violent gangs that I know is 18th Street and as well as Florencia. They're scary. They're scary. If they want me or you dead, they can do it.
With ties to the Mexican Mafia and a combined membership of nearly 40,000, these gangs are an army of bad guys. You get on the roof.
You not finna come stop playing with me on the set.
Shit, nigga,
look. Just got pulled over.
Damn, like that? Like that? Damn, nigga, that's crazy as fuck. Frosty, drop the phone, Frosty.
Bro.
Drop the phone. Quick, hit the line, nigga.
Bro. I'm recording, bro.
Okay, it's fine.
I'm not doing nothing wrong.
Okay, you did.
I'm not doing anything wrong. Y'all pulling me over for no reason.
Relax,
all right, can you turn off my phone? I'm gonna turn off my phone. All right, I'm gonna turn off my phone.
4 men arrested in the slaying of actor Johnny Wacko.
We're diving deep into the history and influence of one of Los Angeles' most infamous street gangs, the Florencia 13. Originating in the late 1940s after World War II, this Mexican-American Serrano gang has left a lasting mark on the streets of Los Angeles County. The name Florencia comes from Florence Avenue, a major street in central and south Los Angeles, where this gang was born in the Florence Firestone district of South Central LA. The Florencia 13's territory is vast, stretching from Central Avenue to Alameda Street, between Slauson Avenue and Florence Avenue. Their influence even extends into the cities of Huntington Park and Los Angeles, and they operate in the Hyde Park area, known for being the home of the Rollins 60s neighborhood Crips. Interestingly, Florencia 13 has coexisted peacefully with the Harvard Park Brims, an African-American street gang in the Harvard Park neighborhood since the 1980s. Florencia 13 is made up of numerous cliques, each with its own identity and territory within the gang's broader network. Some of the most notorious cliques include the Jokers, Malditos, Locos, Midgets, Diablos, Termites, Los Animals, and the Asesinos. These cliques gained national attention after being featured on the TV series Gangland in 2012. But the story doesn't end there. Other active cliques within F13 include the Dream Boys, Malos, Tokers, Midnight Street Boys, Neighborhood Dukes, Bagos, and the Pee-wees. The Florencia 13's connection to the Mexican Mafia is a critical part of their identity. In the 1960s, they adopted the number 13, which corresponds to the letter M in the alphabet, signifying their allegiance to the Mexican Mafia. This affiliation has made them a powerful force both on the streets and within the prison system.
Police say Officer Arroyos and his girlfriend were looking at a home on East 87th Street when a black pickup truck with the 4 suspects pulled up. 2 of the suspects allegedly confronted Arroyos and his girlfriend, pointing guns and robbing them, including taking Arroyos' chains. And after taking the chains, police say Arroyos and the suspects started shooting at each other, and Arroyos died from his injuries.
Today by law enforcement officials involving the takedown of one of the biggest and destructive street gangs in our area. 37 people associated with the South LA Florencia 13 have been arrested following raids on 30 homes early this morning. Authorities say they funded the gang through armed robberies, extortion, and the sale of illegal drugs. Just last month, 3 members of the Florencia 13 were sentenced to at least 35 years in prison for killing off-duty LAPD officer Fernando Arroyos during a robbery 2 years ago.
Over Linwood this morning, the scene of a federal takedown targeting a criminal street gang. FBI agents and LA County deputies raided 30 homes linked to the South LA gang Florencia 13. Investigators say the gang is responsible for the 2022 killing of LAPD officer Fernando Arroyos. Federal
and local law enforcement announced a major crackdown on the notorious South Los Angeles-based street gang, Florencia 13, F13. A total of 37 members and associates have been charged in federal grand jury indictments for crimes including drug trafficking, extortion, and 3 brutal, one involving a man beaten to death outside a bar in F13 territory. The coordinated operation led to the arrest of 23 of 13 members and associates who will be arraigned in U.S. District Court in Los Angeles. Authorities also seized a significant quantity of illegal drugs, along with 25 firearms and $70,000 in cash, all linked to the gang's operations. Among those charged is Celerino Busy Jaramillo, a key shot caller in F13, who, along with others, is accused of leading violent racketeering activities, including multiple and the operation of illegal after-hours clubs known as casitas. These indictments strike a significant blow to F13's criminal network, marking a major step toward restoring safety in affected communities.
Bro, don't come like that, bro. Don't get that, man. Don't get that. So what? So I'm ready. I'm ready to win. What's the deal? Don't try to act tough, bro. Scared. Don't come here. Put your arms up. No. What size you being disrespectful, bro? All right. I'm not cussing you out nothing like that. Neither was I. I just told him not to be quiet, bro. That's it. Don't come here pushing the homies and shit. I saw you. I didn't touch anybody. I didn't touch anybody. I'm gonna come here pushing the homies and shit straight up. Or what? You mean, what's the deal? We could do something. What's popping? Or what? Put your badge down there. We can get in. Don't hit me with that. Fucking put your badge down.
Yeah. Let me see the whackouts. Okay. Okay.
TK. MK for life.
Mr. Keep It Up. Come out, banging the set, I'm tipping off the pill. Known as big badass, but I'll be really in the field. Call me Mr. Keep It Hood, I need $1 million deal. Cause all my rabbits coming too, I'm finna move y'all to the hills. Rest in peace to all my rabbits, I love you for keeping real.
Big 35, 5'6", all that.
They trying to shut us down, but you know what I'm saying? It ain't working though. We ain't going nowhere. Boy, they hot.
Ain't taking a loss, I'ma give it my all, deserve a round of applause. Still gripping on the 40 when I write on the walls. Now they ask me how I'm doing shit better than y'all.
Whoa, bro, Eastie like, y'all now, rabbits and flash up in this
In
bit.
today's episode, we're taking a deep dive into the history and influence of the Playboys gang, also known as Playboys 13, a notorious Mexican-American street gang that has left a significant mark on the streets of Los Angeles, California. Recognizable by their adoption of the Playboy Bunny logo, this gang has a storied history that dates back to the 1950s. The origins of the Playboys gang can be traced to the Westside Playboys, which formed in the Pico Union area of central Los Angeles. Their stronghold is near Fedora Street, Pico Boulevard, and Normandy Avenue. This territory is adjacent to the Drifters, another Latino street gang. The Westside Playboys are organized into several cliques, including the Chicos Locos, Malos, and Dukes, and are known for their deep roots in the west side of South Central LA. The Eastside Playboys, also known as the Southside Playboys 13, emerged in the 1970s in the South Park area of South Central Los Angeles. They dominate a large portion of the East Side, with their territory stretching from Vernon Avenue to Slauson Avenue, between Grand Avenue and Central Avenue. The Eastside Playboys have their own cliques, including those from 56th Street, 51st Street, 49th Street, 46th Street, and 42nd Street. They are one of the oldest Latino street gangs on the East Side, a predominantly black neighborhood with only a few Mexican-American street gangs like 38th Street, Florencia 13, Primera Flats, and Clanton 14th Street. By the 1980s, the Playboys gang had expanded its influence beyond Los Angeles, establishing subsets in various cities across Los Angeles and Orange counties, including Bell Gardens, Southgate, Garden Grove, and Burbank.
Downtown Los Angeles authorities arrest 28 gang members and associates of the South LA-based Eastside Playboys. The multi-agency task force included personnel from the FBI, ATF, and LAPD. Officers serving search and arrest warrants throughout the LA area overnight. The operation stems from 6 grand jury indictments. Authorities arrest 28 gang members and associates of the South LA-based Eastside Playboys. The multi-agency task force included personnel from the FBI, ATF, and LAPD. Officers serving search and arrest warrants throughout the LA area overnight. The operation stems from 6 grand jury indictments, one of which alleges a racketeering scheme and includes allegations of narcotics and weapons trafficking, as well as the extortion of local businesses.
Gang members were taken into custody in Boyle Heights this morning as part of citywide bust. The FBI and LAPD were among the multiple agencies working overnight to serve search and arrest warrants throughout Los Angeles. The operation targeted gang members and their associates. Authorities say the people taken into custody are believed to be involved in a range of crimes, including racketeering, possession of weapons, and drug violations.
Authorities arrested 28 members and associates of the Eastside Playboys street gang in South Los Angeles. These arrests are part of a 4-year investigation dubbed Operation Down the Rabbit Hole, which led to federal racketeering, narcotics, and firearms charges against the gang. The indictments, including one under the RICO Act, reveal the gang's structure, its ties to the Mexican mafia, and its illegal activities such as drug and weapons trafficking and extortion. In total, 41 gang members were charged, with 10 still at large. During the investigation, law enforcement seized 47 firearms, large quantities of drugs, and $140,000 in cash. The lead defendant, Eliseo Luna, is accused of overseeing the gang's operations and authorizing violent acts, including murders.
Want me to? We could go pour up some mud if you want me to. I could put you in off-white if you want me to.
In today's episode, we're exploring the Osage Legend Crips. This African-American street gang is based in Inglewood, California, and is one of the few Crip gangs in a city largely dominated by Bloods. The Osage Legend Crips have their roots around Osage Street and Arbor Vitae Street, between Prairie Avenue and La Brea Avenue. Despite being in Blood territory, the Osage Legend Crips have made a name for themselves. Their main clique, the Tiny Loc Riders, represents the 92nd Street area. Interestingly, members of this gang are known for wearing yellow or gold in addition to the traditional blue that Crips are known for. The Hollywood Park Casino on Century Boulevard in Inglewood is a well-known gathering spot for the Legends, adding to their presence in the city. In a major bust, authorities have arrested 10 members and associates of the Inglewood-based 92 Osage Legend Crips on federal narcotics and firearms charges. The grand jury indictment outlines how this violent street gang allegedly acquired that white girl, used a so-called convenience store to convert it into rock, and then distributed the drugs throughout Inglewood and South Los Angeles. The indictment targets the gang's leadership and key members who are accused of manufacturing and distributing drugs from the Stop and Shop Market, a front for drug operations located in a strip mall on South Prairie Avenue. After processing and packaging the drugs at the Stop and Shop, the gang allegedly delivered the drugs to various locations, including the U.S. Vet's office and the Social Security office in Inglewood. According to the indictment, some of the defendants, including previously convicted felons, used firearms to protect their drug trade and territory. The gang allegedly relied on violence and intimidation to control their narcotics trafficking, fend off rival gangs, and collect payments from drug customers. Paul Delacour, assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office, noted that this multi-year investigation began after a spike in violence in Inglewood linked to the Osage Legend Crips. The lead defendants in the indictment, Glenn Dwight Love, Big Luck, Dashe Lewin King, Shaybone, and Wiley Vanoy Ivory II, Slim, allegedly ran the Stop and Shop, which appeared to be a regular convenience store but was actually a front for their drug operations. The indictment describes how the defendants discussed making the shop look more legitimate to avoid detection by authorities. Gang members allegedly sold drugs by driving around Inglewood, stopping at regular locations known to street-level customers. While many sales were for small amounts, the indictment also reveals larger transactions, including one involving 4 kilograms of that white girl.
Los Angeles police say they arrested 3 members of MS-13 in early morning raids this week at 10 locations throughout the San Fernando Valley. They are accused of shooting and killing a homeless man while he slept at a rec center in North Hollywood. Officers say MS-13 members are also believed to be responsible for at least 5 violent assaults at the rec center just after the shooting.
This morning, a coordinated law enforcement effort led by the Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs targeted the leadership of MS-13, one of the largest and most deeply entrenched gangs in Los Angeles. A gang that started here in Los Angeles, but which has spread its mayhem across the United States and Central America.
We're diving into the origins of the infamous Mara Salvatrucha gang, better known as MS-13, a criminal organization that has become one of the most notorious in the world. MS-13 was born in Los Angeles, created by Salvadoran immigrants who fled the brutal civil wars in Central America. These immigrants settled in neighborhoods like Pico Union, Westlake, and Rampart, where they faced severe racial prejudice and persecution. Initially, MS-13 was just a group of young, delinquent, heavy metal fans trying to find their place in a hostile environment. The gang's original purpose was to protect Salvadoran immigrants from the more established gangs in Los Angeles, which were primarily composed of Mexicans, Asians, and African Americans. Over time, though, MS-13 evolved from a loose group of friends into a dangerous criminal organization. Under the leadership of Ernesto Deras, a former Salvadoran Special Forces member trained by the U.S. Green Berets, MS-13 transformed into a more disciplined and organized gang. Deras used his military expertise to enhance the gang's operations, and it wasn't long before MS-13 began to grow in power. This period also marked the beginning of their intense rivalry with the 18th Street Gang, a feud that started over a personal dispute but quickly escalated into a violent and lasting conflict. As MS-13 members were arrested in Los Angeles, many were deported back to El Salvador. However, instead of dismantling the gang, these deportations only helped spread MS-13's influence. Deported gang members began recruiting in their home countries, leading to a significant increase in gang activity in Central America, where MS-13 had previously been virtually unknown. The Los Angeles Times has argued that U.S. deportation policies inadvertently contributed to the growth of MS-13, both in the United States and Central America.
And state law enforcement officials announced a major takedown of the MS-13 street gang's leadership, alleged to be involved in the sale of large amounts of across SoCal. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office indicted 23 of MS-13's members, some operating from within prison and others on the streets of L.A.
They say MS-13 members used violence and intimidation to control the sale of narcotics in the neighborhoods that they occupy. They say with this, they're trying to take out the leadership of the gang to combat violence on the streets.
What this investigation has revealed is that MS-13 uses drug trafficking as its lifeblood. It uses drug funds to finance its operations.
In a significant crackdown today, federal and local law enforcement officials announced the unsealing of a grand jury indictment against 23 members and associates of the infamous MS-13 gang. These individuals are accused of trafficking large quantities of drugs and illegally possessing ammunition found in a ghost gun. Today's operation led to the arrests of 17 MS-13 members, who are expected to be arraigned on the 36-count indictment this afternoon in Los Angeles. 4 of the defendants were already in state custody, while authorities continue to search for 2 more. As part of the takedown, law enforcement seized multiple pounds of illegal drugs, 9 firearms, and nearly $94,000 in cash. The indictment reveals that MS-13, operating under the control of an imprisoned member linked to the Mexican mafia, enforced a rule requiring all Los Angeles area cliques to buy drugs from specific suppliers, funneling profits back to the gang's leadership. From July 2021 to August 2023, the gang's drug trafficking activities were allegedly overseen by top shot callers Pavel Hurtado and Eli Grijalva, who managed operations and coordinated with the incarcerated MS-13 member. The gang used violence and intimidation to control narcotics trafficking in their territories, requiring sellers to either be MS-13 members or pay rent to operate within their zones. The indictment charges all 23 defendants with conspiracy to distribute narcotics, with additional charges for individual members related to drug distribution and illegal possession of ammunition.
Well, every side, all sides, Queen Streets, NHPs, we up, man. We gotta take that up, you feel me? F-gang.
What'd he say?
We be having to press this nigga sometimes, man. He know what's happening. 92nd Street, Englewood Bloods, though. At the 20s, man. Manchester CMT, you feel me? This the home of it right here. I got my ass beat in this alley by Inglewood PD.
This was my stomping grounds going up. The 60s and all the Crips on this side, and Pyros and all the other Bloods on this side. They could be passing down the street. You gotta be on your P's and Q's. You gotta look around. We don't be mean to be in every car, but shit, that's how you get caught slipping.
We got everything in our backyard. I can watch stuff from Darby Park.
We are diving into the history and influence of the Inglewood Family Gang, also known as the Inglewood Family Gangster Bloods. This African-American street gang has deep roots on the west side of Inglewood, California, and has been a significant presence in the area since the 1970s. Originally known as the Chain Gang, the IFG has a long history, even predating the formation of the Crips. Back in the day, they had fierce rivalries with other gangs, including the Westside Crips, which was founded by the infamous Stanley "Tookie" Williams. The Inglewood Family Gang's territory stretches from Crenshaw Boulevard to Van Ness Avenue, covering the area from 77th Street to 94th Street. Over the years, they've formed several cliques, including the 77th Street, Rolling 80s, 92nd Street, 94th Street, and the Ransom Gang. In today's episode, we're covering the latest crackdown on the Inglewood Family Gang, a violent street gang that has grown from a local presence in Englewood to a national criminal enterprise with cliques across multiple states, including New York, Georgia, Texas, and more. Over the past week, authorities have arrested 10 members and associates of the Inglewood Family Gang on federal charges related to narcotics trafficking and firearms offenses. These arrests follow a multi-year investigation where task force members conducted controlled purchases, acquiring firearms. Among those arrested is Byron Sumlin, aka Busy, who was charged with dealing firearms without a license. He, along with several others, was taken into federal custody on October 30th, 2018. The charges range from drug distribution to illegal possession of firearms, with many of the defendants being previously convicted felons. The gang members and their associates allegedly used violence and intimidation to control their drug trafficking territory, protecting their operations from rival gangs and ensuring payment from drug customers. The indictment highlights the gang's use of established cliques to traffic firearms and narcotics across the country. Some defendants have already pleaded guilty, while others are awaiting trial. The government continues to pursue charges against these individuals, aiming to dismantle the Inglewood Family Gang's operations and reduce the violence they bring to communities. As we've seen, these 5 gangs have evolved from local street crews into powerful criminal enterprises with far-reaching influence, not just in Los Angeles but across the United States. The recent indictments and arrests are a significant step in the ongoing battle against gang violence and narcotics trafficking, but the fight is far from over. Law enforcement's relentless pursuit of these dangerous organizations underscores the commitment to restoring safety and peace to communities long under siege. Stay tuned as we continue to cover these developments and bring you the latest on the efforts to curb gang activity and its impact on society.